Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of the podcast. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're trying to grow our channel, and as we continue on with the podcast, we want to start new forms of content. We want to start posting our work here on YouTube. So if you want to see some of that and continue supporting the podcast, please subscribe. Enjoy the episode. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Exordia Creative Podcast. We're back. We've got a guest today, so we're very excited about that. But before we get into it, you guys know the drill.
Standard issue.
A little bit of bubbly action.
So this is our good friend Nick Brown.
Hello, everybody.
He is the president of Wristix.
Yeah.
And we wanted to bring him on today. A lot of businesses, I mean, hopefully you've pivoted in the last little while. So Nick is a prime local example of pivoting. And today we wanted to bring him on and talk a little bit about Wristix and what it was going to be in February of this year and what it is today. And plans for the future.
Yeah, we did a Q&A segment last week. We talked a lot about starting our business, some of the challenges we faced, some of the decisions we had to make along the way. Yeah. And we've talked about Wristix before on the show, so it'd be cool to pick your brain about that.
For sure.
Also, longtime friend of ours. We all went to high school together.
Yep, been friends for a while.
Yeah, like a decade or something like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Without further ado, let's get into it. Nick,
okay, cool.
Talk to us about Wristix. When did you start?
Okay, so Wristix started in February. So back then I was working as a marketing manager at an e-commerce place in Windsor.
A million years ago.
A million years ago, feels like it, especially going back and forth with COVID. But basically we started, my uncle, he does manufacturing ready for 12 years or so. So we decided he wanted to get into Canada, and I am in this space already, so it makes sense. So we started the corporation, got it all fired up mid-February, and we were ready to go. The website started. We didn't finish the website till May-ish, but I mean, we wanted the infrastructure there.
Yeah, you had it started.
We had it started. We had an accelerated timeline. We wanted to be done around like April, maybe March. But then, a month later, COVID happened, like March 23rd, everything got shut down, and the business was in the live event space. So we were doing wristbands, Tyvek wristbands, silicone wristbands. If you've ever been to a festival, concert, you tap, you pay, that's it. So that's what they do. That's what they specialize in. And everything was destroyed within a month.
I mean, I think you were thinking on like a larger scale, but even locally, I remember we were getting geared up with like RetroFest, Festival of Nations. So like locally, you were
Festival of Nations was supposed to be a big one, which is nice. I mean, Tyvek is a cheap one, so it's like, okay, we can do this easily, get in there, produce it properly. Can't wait. Yeah, then it was like, okay,
It's almost ironic how unlucky that is.
Yeah, no, exactly. Especially when it's your first time finally trying to jump into something, and then it's like, okay, I just quit my job, and here we go. Yeah, here's the real world. Honestly. Yeah.
So your initial plan was you wanted to be the Canadian branch to reach out to all the festivals and events and whatnot, provide them with the wristbands.
Yeah. So basically, like, they have the South American and then also Europe, which is like their main territories. So the plan was, okay, we work with all these companies that also have North American affiliates, so therefore we can refer them to you, and then we can keep our brand image going, and it's like, okay, we have this relationship across the world kind of thing. So it was, it sounded easy. It sounded like, okay, here's the silver platter, and then obviously, it was, okay, now what the heck do we do? We've already put money into it. We have the name, we have everything going, we have the website, like what happens next.
I love the name too, Wristix.
Yeah, it's a nice name.
Wristband, tickets, like it's.
It was nice because the way we found it, like once I found it, I was like, oh my God, I've created something sweet. And then I Googled it, and it was tried to get trademarked before, but it was abandoned. So I was like, okay, it's good to go. Yeah, it was abandoned.
But
so
you trademarked it now, right?
No, it's not trademarked.
Okay,
no. We just have it protected. We have it protected under like a business license and everything, but no, it's not trademarked. And if something gets abandoned, there's probably a reason for it. Like it might have, something came up and it was going to cost too much to keep going. So it's like, okay, it's whatever. So if you want to take it, you can try and execute against me. But
so what was your headspace like at the time? Like I'm trying to think of like the worst types of businesses you could possibly start in 2020.
Yeah, so definitely anything live. Yeah, anything live events, probably the worst thing you could possibly try to do. And I mean, like I said, it was supposed to be super easy, and then decimated. And then it was like, okay, so what now? And I mean, I've had my uncle, my aunt who have been in business for a long time, so it was like, okay, don't worry, take a step back. What else can we do? And luckily, they have their own designers and everything down there. So within 4 months, they had another wristband, which is the hand sanitizer wristband.
I think you're wearing one.
I have right here. Yeah. So you just pull out, push. They came out with that 4 months later. So I think it was June, May. So that was kind of the first pivot in a sense. It's still in the same area, but it was a completely different market we were going after. It was more promotional goods. They were coming out with them, logoing them for businesses to have in a workplace or for one-day events or something like that. Obviously, down in Mexico, they quarantined and then opened up pretty quickly compared to everywhere else in the world. So they've returned to business, and this is a big hit down there. Where here, it's like the use for it is a little bit different. It's not meant for the consumer as much as it is for 1 or 2 day events. So
it'd be a good like promotional product too, though, if companies were to buy it. Because like, what are you selling them for on the website?
On the website, they're for $5, but then we have tiered pricing. If you click for a quote, then we have tiered pricing for businesses. So it's a business printer fee, and then you get a discount. You can go down to $2, so it gets pretty low.
Cool. And it comes filled with hand sanitizer too.
Comes filled. In Canada, it comes filled. We can't ship internationally filled. It's a hazard, I guess, fire hazard.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so we can do domestic shipping filled.
Yeah.
What a smart thing to do with the wristbands.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nice. It was like they already had the material. They had no market down there anymore for what they already had. So it was like, what else can we do? They came up with it pretty quickly. And yeah, it worked down there instantly. And here we were like, okay, let's try and copy it. So we did end up getting in with Canada Post, and they've bought 3 orders. Still waiting on some more, but I mean, they had good feedback right away, and we'll see where that goes. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I guess that was your first pivot.
Yeah.
And then you were kind of like, okay, we're not really seeing the kind of traction that we wanted to get with the wristbands, with the hand sanitizer wristbands. So then you moved into something else.
Yeah. So then, because all the products that they already had too kind of were business promotional down there, but we weren't bringing those here because it was like, okay, that's not the segment we're going for. So we were like, let's just leave those there. But then all of a sudden, I contacted a supplier for a lot of pop sockets, bought a huge inventory of them with the hopes that it would go well. And then obviously it started going very well. We got a big order right away. And then we actually went on Etsy, which we weren't on before. And now we have at least 6-7 orders per day coming in. It's always busy on there. We actually have orders of like 1 and 2, dogs, cats, people, whatever. And then we have business orders that we've done with like 150 to 200. Yeah. We've done a lot of 60 orders, sororities, businesses, startups, stuff like that. So it's been cool. So then that kind of now we're thinking, okay, business promotional. It already exists in Canada. Obviously, it exists everywhere, and everybody thinks it's a very saturated market. But the main thing is like there's minimums on all these products. You have to buy 500. And I mean, now that we're kind of exploring, it's like, okay, how can we change that and kind of interrupt it here to make it more accessible for people? Because it's like you just start a business.
You are custom printing on them too.
Yeah, exactly.
You can add your photo, your logo.
You can add photos, logos. It's full color. It's full print. And the nice thing about it is too, like a big thing in the industry is your printer fee. And it's just not changed, but it's like the reason they had those before is because it was all plated and it was actual machinery, where now it's like we're going into a lot more digital printing. So there is the initial setup of a printing file, but then after that it's like, why are you still paying such a high fee? So like that's one way we can go after and maybe lower the fee or eliminate the fee, build it into the price, something like that. But yeah, so the hope would be we'll have like these 10 top products that you want in 2020, 2021 that are in stock and can go out right away. And then we'll have, if you do want a bigger order, we have like all these other products, but it's stick with the pop sockets because these things are flying.
So I want to ask you why pop sockets.
Yeah.
But when you were talking about that, I was thinking, would you ever do phone cases? But maybe walk us through like where your headspace was when you decided to pivot to pop sockets.
Yeah, so with the pop sockets, they've been doing them down there, more high tech. Like down there, they have an RFID chip in it, so it's like when you go to tap to pay, the same type of thing. They were already using it
in the pop socket.
So they put it behind the pop socket, and then they build it so that like on newer iPhones and Androids, you can just tap and it pulls up the information. So basically, you could put your whole business card on this pop socket, and then when you go to somebody, you tap it. So I mean, down there, because they're more open, it's working. But I mean, here we're locked down. It doesn't really seem smart to jump into that right now because we can't really be that close to people. But yeah, so they have the more high end, and I was like, okay, if people are paying for that, then what about just getting pictures and stuff? And Christmas season was coming quick, so it was like, okay, what's a kind of stocking stuffer kind of product? But yeah, I got a sweet deal on it. That's the number one reason. It was like, got it cheap enough with a big enough inventory that it made sense. And then they started going like instantly. I put the listing up on Etsy, and then we had within the first week like 20 orders or 15 orders. And I was like, okay, so this will be something we push more. Yeah. So then I started running Etsy ads, and now it's a consistent thing.
I do want to talk about ads, and I want to talk about I want to jump back to the wristbands because Do you think that was one of the reasons why it didn't take off, is because Facebook and the other places that you were running ads for them wouldn't allow you because it's technically a COVID product?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, launching a product for the first time and not being able to actually advertise to the masses is kind of like the worst thing ever in the world. So there's a very dumb rule that they had where, because, I mean, it was in place for a reason. So it was in place because at the very beginning, people were gouging for masks and stuff like that. So they said, if you haven't had an ad account for 6 months, then you can't make an ad that has the word sanitizer. You can't use any kind of fear, emotional mongering to sell the product. So even saying keep your kids safe, they would flag it right away and take it off because that was enticing that like fear to the audience. Yeah. So yeah, as soon as I tried to put any of these ads up without knowing that this was a thing, I built all these ads, put them out, and then all of a sudden they all came back rejected. I appealed over and over and over again, and they said like, there's no chance, you're too young. And then Google wouldn't even touch us. They just didn't approve anything at all. They didn't even let us appeal. You were even experimenting
with LinkedIn, Snapchat.
Yeah, LinkedIn wasn't as filtered, but I mean, obviously the audience is there, but LinkedIn's more, I don't know, it's hard to sell directly with ads because that's more of like a community. And it's like there's
LinkedIn
it's a
is
very
so
businessy. Yeah. And I mean, I did have like the sales manager on LinkedIn. I was messaging and cold emailing and man, I don't know, they sell it pretty well, but not a single response after sending like probably 100 plus. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to waste time on this anymore. But yeah, it was mostly organic and a lot of word of mouth. But even with that, it was taking so much time, and the product was kind of a product that had to get the word out there quick to make it worth it. Yeah. Things are starting to chill out. There's a lot of competitors now in that kind of area with the silicone stuff. So yeah, it was like, meh.
You really have to be smart in your position. Yeah. Because it's like, you definitely can't do the event space stuff.
Yeah.
So you have to pivot, and it's such a cool idea to pivot to the sanitizer product.
Yeah.
Then Facebook's like, well, actually, you can't.
Yeah.
Maybe you're fear mongering.
Yeah. It was like pivot, smash a brick wall, pivot, smash a brick wall.
Just cutting it off.
Yeah. Now it's like, okay, what else can we do? And it's the business promo, I think, is the next thing. We're just gonna keep pivoting till something.
I was gonna say, like, what have you learned through this whole process?
Well, the nice thing is like,
what are your key takeaways?
I would say the key takeaway is that from now on, it's like, yeah, you can have a concrete plan no matter what you think, but you have to be agile about being able to pivot. That's number one. Number two, now, obviously, first off, this would be like, I was a green thumb in this. I didn't really have that much actual starting my own thing, kind of entrepreneurial. I had the spirit, but I never actually went out and did anything crazy like this. I would say that now it's going to make me more resilient. So like, that's number one. It's like, okay, I started a business, then continued it. Not doing as great as we wanted, but we're still alive, so that's great. And it's like, now after this, it's gonna be cupcakes and flowers, and that's it.
Well, there's still gonna be more pivoting, because I'm sure your end goal for this business is not, and I think PopSocket is actually like a trademark thing.
Yeah, right? PopSocket's trademark. That's the crazy thing too, is that you get in so phone grips.
You call them phone grips.
Yeah, you get in so much trouble.
I'm sure
with
that
PopSocket.
This isn't like your end goal. So like,
no, not at all. So I mean, this will obviously be like, now that we've realized that we want to go business promo, this will be a staple product. And I mean, locally, I still haven't even pushed it very much locally. Most of our sales are from the States. Probably 90% of our sales are from the States. And I mean, I want to push it more to small businesses that want a couple, because I don't charge the printer fee on these. So it's like, it's easy for them to get 25, hand them out, see what people think. Yeah. And also, I mean, phone grips are nice. They're just cool. But I mean, the ultimate goal would be, okay, let's do this promo thing. If it starts to go, it goes. We'll let it turn into its own thing. I mean, we have the corporation, so we can have multiple companies under it. And it's still in the same realm of printing, so we can utilize the same machinery. Like, I'm using the same machine that we purchased for the bracelets and the wristbands, and we just pivoted the machine and came out with different templates to be able to do all the promo products. So if we can use the machines, then at the end of this, say 2022, which I hope it doesn't take that long, but if that's the case, then we still have the infrastructure set up for the wristbands. We'll jump right back into the wristbands. Now we'll probably have more machinery for the wristbands, and vice versa, and maybe by then we'll have employees.
So you've just built out another arm, basically.
Yeah, exactly. It's more of just a Band-Aid that might turn into something great, and if not, it's whatever.
What other kind of business promo stuff do you want to do?
So like, I have my supplier, and we've been looking through stuff. They have all the basic stuff. They have pens. They have like the books that you can do. So with my printer, it's a UV printer, so we can print on anything but silicone. Consistently with the same inks. So I'm looking at anything, honestly. You can PopSockets, the books, the pens.
Like, can you print on paper?
No, like the only thing with paper is it depends on you could do cardstock. It just depends on the weight, because it would just hit the ink. Like, the ink would just splurge into it, so it would absorb it. Yeah. You could coat it first, but I mean, that gets into a pain in the butt kind of thing. So I mean, I want to look at the top 10 lists and say, okay, here's the things that are going. I mean, we can do water bottles. There's so many products. Like if you go to if you search up business promo on Google and go to it, there's like a million products. They'll have 100 categories, and that's what's hard too. It's like, okay, what the heck do I put on? So I mean, that's why when we do this, I want it to be like, here's the products we have that can go out today if you need them. Here's the top 10 trending products. We'll have a blog, be like blah 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 blah, drive some traffic. But here's the top 10 products. Here are the 2020 products that we think are going to be cool. Maybe we'll have trendy ones that are pretty cool. But then there's always the staples. It's always pens, stickers, hopefully the pop sockets.
Stickers would be really cool.
Yeah. I mean, everybody likes the stickers, and the stickers is a pretty easy one to do. And we don't even need to use the printer. We can actually just get like a thermal printer. But
that'd be cool. We could use some stickers. I know a growing trend in e-com right now is people taking multiple products and branding different businesses for all of them. Mm-hmm. So do you see yourself having the pop sockets or the phone grips and everything else under one brand, or do you see yourself making different stores? And
so I mean, the hard thing with doing like the old business that I worked at in Windsor, they have 9 brands, and the most annoying thing about that once it starts scaling is that now you have 9 different bills to pay, you have 9 different segments of customers, you have 18 social media accounts on minimum. You have like, it's just everything starts going. And then once you're at scale, it's like, okay, how the heck do we, it's so overwhelming. And it's like, you almost need one brand manager for every single brand. So there's another $300,000-$400,000. So it's like, as much as that's nice, because it's sweet to have that niched market and you can send right to them and you know how they respond. I think the overall pain is just too large. So it's like, we'll continue with the pop sockets. And that's what's nice about Etsy. Like if you want to do that sort of thing, you can just do it where we have that product is one listing, and when somebody sees it, it looks like it's a different, like you don't see the store first, you see the product first. So it's like, cool. Okay, we'll stay on Etsy. Here's your individual products. Visit the store. The nice thing is they can like the store, so then when you get new products, it just keeps pushing it to them. You can run all the, like Etsy's they take a lot of money from you, but there's like, there's a whole percentage. There's multiple. So like you have the listing fee every single time. So before on Etsy, if you had 100 products, you would have to pay upfront $20 to list those products. Where now it's like every time you sell a product, it just takes 20 cents off the top. Plus there's like a 15% of the shipping fees. Then there's another 5 cents for shipping labels. Then there's like, it turns out to be, I think on the pop sockets, it's around like an extra 45 cents or something per socket sold. So it can get costly. I mean, with a higher priced item also, it's still percentages. So it's like, but yeah.
I was listening to a podcast this weekend, and it was with the co-founders of Wayfair. Mm-hmm. And when they first started Wayfair, they didn't know what Wayfair was, obviously. Mm-hmm. But it was right when the .com really took off and people were starting to build out stores and stuff. And they had like, I believe, 30 websites that they sold different things from. Mm-hmm. So they do like chairsandesks.com, and all very searchable. And then eventually they're like, okay, this is a lot of shit from different areas. Like, somebody's calling customer service from Chairs and More, and somebody's calling from Lamps and Shades or whatever, and they're getting the same person. So then eventually they just consolidated everything, and that's what Wayfair is today. So kind of interesting.
I think
there's
it's
different
awesome.
ways to go around it.
Exactly. I think it definitely, that would be a good way. I think also, like, how long ago was that?
Oh, I don't even know.
Yeah, I feel like it would be harder today because it's like a lot of people, I think, like back then were able to outsource. Yeah, so like outsourcing was a big thing, and it's like now people want that authentic kind of relationship. So like before you could have those 20, outsource them for a cent per call or whatever. And now it's like, okay, I don't want to talk to this person. I want to talk to somebody kind of that I've been developing a relationship on their website and that kind of thing. So I think it's harder if you want the authenticity of the brand to speak. And that's kind of what I would want to aim for. It's like, if you're going to go this niche, then you may as well like speak to them and make sure that you're equipped to deal with them. And then,
so if you were to consolidate, and we were talking about this a little bit before the podcast, but the Wristix name.
So that's a big thing. So like, that's why I want to set
name, by the way.
I love the Wristix name for what it is. And that's what I figured out now is like with these pop sockets, because I have the Instagram going and the Facebook going, it's like now all they're seeing is pop sockets. So that's kind of what's pushing me to want to start the separate website for now. And I mean, with business promotional, I don't think, obviously we're going to put some work into building a personal relationship, but I think it's a very like transactional kind of brand. It's a transactional relationship. So it's like, okay, we can separate this. We don't have to have the infrastructure that we do with the phones and everything. It'll be all online. So I think it's easier. And I don't even know if we'll need to push it as much via Instagram and stuff like that. So it's like, it's a lot easier to get over there, but I need to get off of Wristix, because now it's like, okay, what is Wristix? And it's like, I want that to be ready to launch. We're a wristband company. We're not business promotional. So I'd rather pivot and actually take a new brand that way than kind of take the specialty away from Wristix. Yeah. So
you mentioned that you had like the silver platter opportunity when you first started, or at least that's what it seemed like at the time. Do you ever think about what you would have done if you didn't have that connection, or if that wasn't an option to you?
Yeah. So for me, I don't know, like I had a great job up until that point. Like I feel like all of a sudden I started seeing a lot of things wrong with it after, because it was like, okay, I'm getting out of here anyways. But I mean, like I probably would have stayed in that position, and e-commerce is what I like anyways. It's like, it's what we went to school for. It's what I like. I probably would have went drop shipping or something like that. Started some sort of brand, just because like right now with the next generation, everybody likes to shop from somewhere that they know. It's like, there's not, department stores are dying. Like it's just, you can't relate to them. They don't care about the environment or anything like that. So it would be nice to get kind of a social justice mission, consumer brand going. I like selling, like that's the fun thing. I don't like picking up the phone and selling. I've learned that, but I do like selling to a customer and having the whole relationship. Right. Like I love consumer behavior, so it's like I love that whole circle and having to attain the customer. But I like it purely from a digital marketing aspect and not from a traditional selling point. But yeah, I think it would have been a little bit different if the silver platter happened, but I'm kind of glad it didn't, because it's been a learning experience.
Yeah, we've talked about that too, about how getting this kind of, for lack of a better term, shitty stuff happening to you at a young age in your career. It's better to have it now and build that resilience, like you said, and then move forward from there with what you know.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be easy after this, I hope.
You never know, man.
You never know, but I mean, something's got to be better than COVID. So
you never know.
Yeah. Well, hopefully there's no COVID 2.0 or anything.
We've got Windsor's in lockdown. London is in red, I believe.
Is that just an impending lockdown, do you guys think?
So Dr. Colby said that as long as we keep going as we are right now, like we're kind of in the clear. He doesn't see a reason to change to another color of the rainbow. Yeah. So see what happens.
I hope we stay this way.
Yeah, I mean, I think the last I checked on the weekend, it was like 30 cases or something. The death rate has stayed the same since the summer, I believe, was the last death. So
that's okay with me then. We'll keep it that way.
Yeah.
I like being able to go out. I don't go out very much, just I'd like to add that. But I mean, the freedom is there, which is nice. I have a lot of friends in Windsor, so it's like they can't even go dine in anymore, or won't be able to go dine in. So I mean, it's nice as long as you're safe and super safe.
Yeah. We don't know what we're doing.
No.
Nobody knows. No. And that's funny. When we're all growing up, we all think that everybody has everything all together and all these grown-ups and all this stuff. And
especially your parents.
That's
like the first illusion that's shattered.
You peel back the hood and it's like, wow, nobody actually really knows anything.
No, not at all. Everybody's just acting.
You can find peace in that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I was listening to my parents, and then it's like, oh, I was listening to anybody. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. Like right now, I live with my parents, and it's hilarious. Just, I mean, going away for school and being away for basically 5 years and then coming back to living with them is like, you view them at such a different point. Like never would I ever have been judgmental towards my parents before, because it's like they're my number one people, and now it's like you leave and come back and you're like
Nick's
you're like
dick.
It's just like, what are you saying? Like that doesn't make sense. And it's just like, I don't know, you've grown, so you come back and it's like, okay, there's some differences now. I don't know, I mean, I never say anything to them, but it's like, oh, okay, cool.
So about a potential rebrand. Yeah, that's funny though. I totally get what you mean. Have you thought about any names? I don't want to put you on the spot.
No, not at all. I haven't thought about anything like that. Okay. So what we didn't do with Wristix was my uncle and my aunt really wanted SEO friendly. They've like, their brand is literally Braceletes Mexico, so it's Bracelets Mexico, very SEO friendly. You're gonna look that up. Nice. And they really wanted that here. And I was like, going forward after school and everything, it's like you kind of want to have your own brand to build. You don't want to just be like this very businessy business right now, because people like to do business with a funner, kind of a nice tone, voice, and everything like that. So it's like, okay, let's take Wristix. It's a brandable name. People will see it. I mean, it's also kind of fun listening to people say like Wristix and stuff. So it's like, yeah, that's cool. It's whatever.
We get that all the
time. You're talking to the chief of extraordinaire creative. Yeah, dude. It is brutal. People butcher names all the time.
Yeah, but no, it's. I haven't thought about anything. I mean, as much as I do love the brand too, it's like now I've also realized that SEO is a huge thing, and there is still a factor to your name itself containing the keywords. But I think even with the promo, it's just going to be something kind of, maybe now will be more combining like the ease of delivery, or like, I don't know, easy promo. Like it's got to be something
focusing
that kind of
on like the strength of whatever, like
exactly
whatever your competitive advantage
yeah
is.
like Express wristbands is a big one that's very SEO friendly, but it's also like you get the point of it. It's like you're getting it Express, it's fast, you're getting wristbands, fast wristbands. Like it's got to be something like that.
Fast
so
bands.
yeah, it's I'm thinking something more traditional but still brandable.
Yeah,
There's no emotion behind like Canada Phone Grip.
No.
.com or something.
no, there's no emotion.
No, nothing at all. No, and that's the thing. I mean, like I was looking, and a lot of business promotional sites sell pop sockets, and they sell the phone grips, and they just don't do a good job promoting it whatsoever. Like almost every site has them listed, but you have to dig through to find them, and then their pricing doesn't make sense and stuff like that. So like that's been the nice thing, is like that's one of like almost everybody that sees it wants it. So it's like, why have they not figured that out? It's been out for a while, so it's like, I don't know.
Well, maybe they're just like lazy because the sales have been coming in and nobody has truly. Well, I guess Vistaprint has kind of really. They've kind of disrupted the market, at least in Canada. I don't know if they ship to the U.S., but nobody's really had to pivot or make any changes because this is just the status quo.
No,
So
yeah, exactly.
That's the beauty of competition, is everybody keeps pushing one another to innovate.
Yeah,
So.
that's one thing too, though, that getting into the wristband space here too has made me more aware of, is like when I was always trying to think of business ideas, I was always like, oh, there can't be anybody in the space. But then it's like, that's just not true. And now even with this business promotion, it's one of the most flooded markets. Like everybody does it, and it's like it doesn't even matter because you can acquire customers on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn.
There's so many
here,
channels,
word of mouth. Like eventually it'll work. I mean, if you have to start local and then build out. I mean, like I said, I want to do more digital first because I'm better at that. But yeah, now I'm not scared really to jump into something that's already flooded, because it's like there's still always crumbs to grab. Slowly build up until you're getting the whole piece of bread. So
and
it's
no
like,
competition doesn't always mean easier by default.
no, it also means somebody could have ditched because it doesn't make sense. Like you might be going down a road that has absolutely no gold. So yeah, I mean, I think it's easier too, because then you have a lot of examples to be able to leapfrog off of. You don't have to do all the same mistakes. And I mean, the other thing is too, if you find a niche or anything like that, and there is a lot of competitors, go look at how crappy their websites are. Like when you go look at business promotional websites, it's like bulleted text still, like HTML from 1999, and it's like, okay, well, I can just make this a lot more appealing to a customer that comes, and a lot more friendly as a customer experience. And then win that way.
And for our demographic and younger, that's so important.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. Like, I mean,
dude, as soon as if I go into a website and it's shit, I'm gone.
Yeah, that's
like,
happens to me every time. There's like they're competing way too much to have a bad experience, and I mean, if they don't care enough now in 2020 to make a good website, then they're probably very lackluster in customer service and delivery, and it's like they've realized this works, and we haven't innovated whatsoever.
Yeah, it shows
a little more embarrassing each and every day.
Every day.
I know phone grips or pop sockets aren't necessarily like your passion or anything, but do you know any details about like is the brand called Pop Socket, the other brand?
Yeah, it's still Pop Socket. Like it's still Pop Socket, but they have tons of products now. Like they have phone grips, car grips, they have magnetic grips.
Like, in terms of all phone grips, would you have any idea?
Of all phone, no, I have no idea. But like just from looking and browsing, like I don't know, I would say like 60 plus for sure, because like everything else is either out of China. There is a couple in the States that make it, but they're like hinged. There's nothing as nice as the Pop Socket, and that's why there's so many like fakes of the Pop Socket or new products of the Pop Socket with the original design. They've moved on from that design. Like they have detachables ones now and stuff like that. So it's like
change out the back.
Yeah, you can change out the back. So in the ones I sell, you can pop them off, but they have like you just twist and it locks and pops off. So I mean, eventually, like we want to go that way, and eventually, I mean, it would be cool to get to a point that I can buy enough inventory from Pop Socket to have the official ones, because then it's easier to sell a brand name. So I mean, it is easier that way, but in terms of copyright, like you can sell the other ones. I use the other ones because it's the exact same thing, and it's a proven product.
Is there any patenting considerations you have to worry about?
No, so they have it on the other ones, but
I wonder why.
No, on this one it's like in Canada they have it, but if they go after it, it's a fight. I feel like that's what it's come down to, because every site has them listed. And I mean, it's
maybe they find it's not worth their time to.
No, I don't think so.
Contest.
All they have on their site is at the very bottom though. They say, "Do you know a fake? Just report them here." That's it. They have a little sub form. Yeah, that's it.
Do you ever think of and maybe I'm just fixated on the pop sockets, and I shouldn't be because you have other ideas. Yeah. But would you ever go like proprietary with the naming and come up with your own name for a phone grip?
I don't think so. I don't think there's too much. I wouldn't want to be pop socket because there's too many people constantly doing the same thing and trying to just copy.
And then they just copy you.
Yeah, and it's inevitable too. I mean, and plus the fact that it costs so much money to patent and trademark and just go down that route, it takes so long. But yeah, I would say like China has no bounds in what they copy. And if somebody's going to be able to copy it that easily, like I just wouldn't go for it. I mean, the pop socket now is obviously very copyable. If you're going to have something, I mean, even the silicone wristbands. So a company in Canada came out with one. They got it manufactured down in China, and then not even a month later, there's now 1,000 different silicone wristbands out of China that you can buy. So it's like you're not truly protected. Their laws don't match with our laws. And I just don't think it'd be worth it to go for a product that's been around for so long. But I mean, that's why I want to get into the space.
Do you know when they first came onto the market?
Pop sockets? No.
Yeah.
Nope. No, I try not to worry myself with things like that.
Fair enough.
It's like if I go down that road, I'm gonna be like, oh my god, I might get in trouble.
Yeah, no,
it's
maybe
like,
I'm just asking too many pop socket
Yeah,
questions.
well, I mean, like I love the pop socket, but at the same time, it's like it's been around for so long. I don't want to put too much into it. And I mean, it's been a good product. So if it continues to be, I mean, I have no problem going for it. But it's like it's pretty early still to figure out. Okay, is it worth trying to do this? Or is there a better product out there? It might just be a product that's been good because it's Christmas time. New Year will tell us kind of what it looks like. So we'll see.
That's cool though that you take a look at like the top sales trends.
Yeah. Yeah. The easiest thing, like
Google Trends is a great tool.
Google Trends is like the easiest thing to figure it out. And I mean, just from looking at other websites too, like it's super fast. But this is also when you have suppliers, the nice thing is like they'll always hit you. So we have a bunch of suppliers from the silicone and stuff from doing with the wristbands. So they'll hit me up and be like, hey, we have this product. Do you want it? We have a sale on this product. We have this. And it's like, okay, if I can print on it, I'll buy it. Like that's basically all I do. So if I can figure it out and get it printed on, then I'll sell it. So it's easy. And we print right here in Chatham. So it's same day delivery to Chatham, local pickup, quick plug.
Yeah. So a lot of the people that listen to our podcast, believe it or not, it's not just in Canada, but some in the United Kingdom, some of them are in the US, some are in Australia. And when I say that, I know it might sound like a lot of people, but we've got like a total audience of like 50 right now, but still. So a lot of these people are in business, they're in marketing. Yeah. And you're not the only one that's gone through the shift of having to pivot your business during this time. What would be one or two, if you'd like, what would be one or two tips for a traditional retailer getting onto e-commerce? What tips would you give?
Right now, I would say pick a platform that is really friendly. So Shopify is who we use. There is a lot of others, and there's like, if you go look it up to find the alternatives, I would just say blanket statement, if you're brand new to e-commerce, get Shopify. It's like the easiest. They have a full school of lessons you can do. They'll teach you from the ground up. They have a 101 course. The support staff, you can email them the same day, they'll get back to you. They have tons of add-ons. It's just very easy to work with. And then it's very easy to also then hire somebody, say Exordia, to be able to manage that because it's just super easy. Yeah, it's just super easy to have them look over it. You can also update your own products fast. I mean, the easiest thing is you want to do it quick. So we don't know how long this is going to last. And I mean, if you haven't already switched to having some sort of e-commerce presence, you should probably get on it now, because now after this, I don't see even my grandmother who now buys things online going back to, I need to go to Shoppers to get this one item. It's like, I just don't think that's going to happen. Now that they've realized, we've been forced to do it. Now we do it. Therefore, we're not going to go back. So jump on it as quick as you can. And then the second tip would probably be just if you're in traditional retail and say you have like what's that called? A boutique shop. I would now start packaging in every single retail product that you have some sort of inclination to either your Instagram and set up an Instagram shop for now, but start transferring your hard customers that come into your store towards that area, because you just want to get them knowing that, you can start to get your product from somewhere else, if it's Etsy, whatever. But I would definitely say, if you can set up your own Shopify, it's nice to be able to have your own thing.
Isn't it like $30 a month?
Yeah, $29.99 for the starter kit. They also have like a 7-day free I think it's a week free trial.
It's 14 days.
14, something. I know when we started, we had 60 or 90 days at the beginning of COVID. But so you can jump on it. And I mean, you can design a website. a pretty bare bones one
pretty
quickly, but I mean, at least you could test getting products on and see what happens. And like I said, if you're just trying to just be available online, then you don't even have to put much into marketing or anything like that. Not right away, at least. But just get your customers used to it. And then if you don't know much about marketing, again, Shellfish plug, Exordia Creative. They do marketing.
And then if you were to suggest, like, would you say running ads and stuff to get people to the store?
Yeah, I mean, and probably the most friendly would be Facebook. Then at least you have Facebook and Instagram. Actually, we used Pinterest off the start, and I would say that is the lowest cost, highest reward platform to use, because especially if your demographic is like a woman 24 to 32, somewhere in that range. It's so easy to see pins, and they always constantly have sponsored ads going through.
Are they buying those?
It's good for traffic. I would say it's good for traffic. It's a good way to raise awareness. It's hard to track with things like Pinterest and, like I said, Etsy, because when they report, every click that they're doing to it is reported, and that's what you get charged on. But they have like the save and pin features, so it's like you don't know within 30 days that they've pinned it, they come back and buy. They won't attribute that to the marketing spend that you had. So it is hard, but I mean, for pure awareness and reach, I would say it's huge on there. And also then you're in an ecosystem that they want to shop on. That's the platform they use to shop on. And Pinterest users are weird like that. They shop purely on Pinterest most of the time. So it's like you have all these different communities.
People who use it spend a lot of time on it.
A ton of time on it.
I've actually heard, like, funny you say that compared to like a Facebook or an Instagram where there's so much you can do on the app. Whereas Pinterest, people are more closer to being ready to pull the trigger when they're on Pinterest.
I would say so.
Because they're looking for projects and shit to do.
They're doers. Like it's a weird. They're like the doer network. It's like they're very impulsive, and it's like they're on there to figure out something. Like they're looking for something. Where it's like if you're on Instagram and Facebook, it's pretty like you're just crushing time.
They want to leave with something tangible.
Yeah, exactly. They want to pin something, and they know they have a mission to do it. So like if they see something that they like, they're gonna pin it. They know it's that easy, and then they'll go revisit it after. So it's like you have that chance of getting into their personal board, and then people can also see it based on their pins. So it's like, I think it's more valuable being on there just for eyes, compared to paying for Instagram and Facebook. But
cool.
Definitely.
Awesome. All right, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up here. But before we do, the camera's no longer rolling. But before we do, this episode has been sponsored by Wristix. So if you guys are into pop sockets, you know what? Maybe you need to get, maybe you need a hand sanitizer wristband. Can you still buy wristbands even if you're not doing events?
Yeah.
Like, still go
so we
Tyvek
still supply,
sure?
like we do supply some Chatham stores with Tyvek ones, just to get in. So like the Fortress here, they still do live events every now and then. So we've been supplying them with the wristbands that they use there. If you do need it, you can do local pickup. It's only $7 per 100 Tyvek bands. Those are your paper bands rip off. Very nice. Another cool product that we didn't mention is the QR code menus that we have. So we're trying to push those.
We forgot to do that too.
Yeah, we didn't do that. So those are.
Check out the website, guys.
Check out the website. Check out the website.
Where can people find you?
www.wristix.ca.com, whichever you prefer. At Wristix Instagram, at Wristix Facebook, at Wristix.
Okay.
Everything.
Our first ad is going terribly. So the code for 10% off the entire website, guys, is Exordia 10. EXORDIA 10.
Yep.
If you want to find the website, you can look at the description of this video. And you can check it out.
Sweet. Thanks for coming on, Nick.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Cheers.